Today is Monday, December 29th, 2025, and this is Read Through the Bible.
Special recap edition of the book of 2 Kings.
Yep, we just finished 2 Kings this morning.
Right, and so now this is an afternoon special edition, and we're going to go over just a big picture of the book of 2 Kings and give you some micro summaries.
Yeah, so the idea of is we're really encouraging you just in your reading of the scripture. So we've read all 25 chapters of 2 Kings. Let's step back and just look at 2 Kings here in less than 15 minutes. We think about just what happened in this book. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the big context of this book goes back to 1 Kings chapter 12, when the kingdom split to Israel in the north and Judah in the south. And 1 Kings ended with Elijah, or it's going to end with Elijah here in 2 Kings, but the transition in 2 Kings to Elisha.
Those are two prophets, Elijah and Elisha.
Yeah, and so we're going to read for the first 17 chapters here just about Israel in the north and Judah in the south, these two kings. So it's a confusing sort of narrative that goes along the way. But then beginning in chapter 18 towards the end, it's just Judah. So it's a little bit more helpful. Okay?
Yep, and it really is like a photo album of a bunch of flawed people. There's some bright spots, but a lot of these kings are just extremely disobedient.
Yep.
To God's commands.
Yep. Okay, so we're just going to go through each chapter, and we're encouraging you to just consider micro summaries, what we're calling them. We have worked through this book, and we try to come up with summaries, maybe 5-6 words. Mm-hmm. Tops.
Maybe 7.
Maybe 7 sometimes, but really trying to take it as small as possible. So, again, I think that's super helpful, just grasping and understanding just what the book of the Bible is about. And we can read through these summaries in less than a minute. Zoop! And you got the whole thing. Just to kind of put 2 Kings in your mind. So 2 Kings begins with a story about Ahaziah.
Right, so chapter 1, Ahaziah injured, seeks Beelzebub.
And I added a comma, not Yahweh.
Yeah. Yep, but he was king of Israel.
Yep.
Israel in the north.
Yep. And so, by the way, if you're looking for a place to write these down in your book, maybe just over the First Chronicles page, there's a bunch of white space at the end of First Chronicles 29. That's where I wrote mine down.
Mm-hmm, so did I.
But Ahaziah was injured because he fell through the roof, and then he wants to inquire of Beelzebub to see whether he's going to get better or not. And Elijah meets him on the way and says, no, you're going to die. And he didn't seek Yahweh of Israel. So Ahaziah injured, seeks Beelzebub. Okay, chapter 2.
Elijah taken to heaven, and then Elisha. Yeah,
that's a story about Elijah taken in a whirlwind up into heaven in the chariot. Mm-hmm. And Elisha just begged that he get the double portion of the Spirit. And Elijah said, if you hang with me, you'll get the double portion. And he got the double portion. But there's the transition from Elijah in 1 Kings to Elisha in 2 Kings. Mm-hmm. Okay, in chapter 3.
Okay, chapter 3. Israel, Judah, and Edom fight with Moab.
Yeah, all those kingdoms united together. And there was this big water miracle, just in terms of the armies were thirsty, and then this water came, and then it turned to blood, and Moab saw that it was blood. They thought it was Israel, and they went, and it's kind of just a unique story. Okay, chapter 4.
Elisha's miracles galore.
Why do we say Elisha's miracles galore?
A long time ago, you wrote a song about Elisha's miracles galore in 2 Kings chapter 4. So we just kept that as our...
So the miracles are, a widow's jar of oil pays her debt.
He raised a woman's child from the dead. Death is removed from the pot of stew. And he fed 100 men with some bread.
Yep. So there's just Elisha just beginning to shine in all his miracles. Okay, chapter 5.
Naaman healed of leprosy, greedy Gehazi.
Yeah, and so even here, even if you just connect 2 Kings 5 with Naaman, that would be super helpful. This is the only time Naaman, if I remember, appears in all the Bible. Mm-hmm. Maybe does a reference in the New Testament, but that's the whole story. If you remember, he's a king, comes, heals in the Jordan River, and then greedy guy, he says, I'll pay you, Elisha. Elisha says, no. And then Elisha's servant Gehazi, he's greedy, and he goes after him, and he gets the money. But then Gehazi gets a leprosy. So it's Naaman, healed of leprosy, then greedy Gehazi. Chapter 6.
Okay, the axe head, angelic army, Syria besieges Samaria.
Boy, that was a tough one to summarize.
That's a really tough one. There's a lot in that, and so we really tried to capture as much as we could in as few words as possible.
Yeah, and just kind of some code words there too. Just the axe head, it was a borrowed axe head, and guy lost it.
It floated.
It floated.
Elisha made it float.
This angelic army is guy was Elisha's servant was worried, and Elisha says, "Go, God, open his eyes so he could see the reality of the angelic army."
And in chapter 6, what's happening is the king of Syria wants to find and kill Elisha. And so there's 2 times where the Syrian army is going to surround the city wherever Elisha is.
Yep.
And that's what's...
It's a result of it now, like there is famine in the land. And
Right.
so that kind of goes into chapter 7, which is...
Okay, it's chapter 7. Sounds scare Syrians away, lepers loot camp.
Yep. And so the Lord just brought this sound, kind of like the sound of the angelic army, perhaps. And it scared the Syrians, and they went away. They were besieging the city, and Elisha had predicted that just by tomorrow, food's going to be cheap.
And it was.
And it was, because the lepers found the food, because Syria just left it. Okay, chapter 8.
Okay, Syria, Hazael, and then Judah, Jehoram and Ahaziah.
Yeah, so these are just kings. There's a king in Syria, Hazael, and he murdered Ben-Hadad to become king. And then just Ahaziah and
Jehoram and Ahaziah are
just
kings in Judah.
mentioned. Yep. Okay, chapter 9.
Okay, 9 and 10 are both about a guy named Jehu.
Jehu the Yahoo.
Who became king of Israel. So chapter 9, Jehu kills Joram, Ahaziah, and Jezebel.
Yep, and he continues his killing spree in chapter 10.
Okay, Jehu wipes out Ahab's line and Baal worship.
And I love the story about how Jehu wiped out Baal worship. He said, Ahab served Baal a little, but Jehu will serve him much. And so if you're a worshiper of Baal, come to this big conference. Everybody here, if there's a Yahweh worshiper, get him out. And so he got all the Baal worshipers, and then he just killed them all. It's like wiped out Baal worship.
Yeah. So God really used Jehu to wipe out Ahab's line and then to wipe out Baal worship.
Yep.
Even though Jehu was not really a righteous king, and he was king of Israel, but God really used him to clean some things up.
Yep, clean house. Okay, chapter 11.
Judah, Athaliah overthrown, Joash crowned.
Yep, and so 11, like 5 is Naaman, 11 is Athaliah. So if you remember the story of wicked Queen Athaliah, that's here. And you put a Judah : just saying that this was happening in Judah.
Right.
Okay, and then chapter 12.
Joash repairs the temple.
Yeah, and this comes from chapter 11, when Joash was revealed by the priest Jehoiada, and then Athaliah was destroyed in chapter 11, and then now the first thing does, Joash repairs the temple. He's a good king.
Right, and that's typical of a good king.
Yes.
in Judah, as they repair the temple.
Yep, 13.
I have Israel, Jehoahaz and Jehoash reign, and then Elisha dies.
Yep. So it's just kind of stories about these kings, pretty nondescript, not anything really important. Okay, 14.
In Judah, we have Amaziah. In Israel, we have Jeroboam number 2.
Yep. Again, just sort of kings. That's what the book is about. And we get 8 kings in chapter 15.
Okay, 8 kings, 2 in Judah, 6 in Israel.
Yep. And if you want to, you just write the names of all the kings there. You can chase them down. Okay, 16.
In Judah, Ahaz builds Damascus-like altar.
Yeah, that's the story.
So, this is a king of Judah, and he goes to Damascus, and he likes their style of worship of whatever gods they worship, and so he wants to build an altar like that in the temple in Jerusalem.
Yeah, it just shows how far gone Israel is. Okay, chapter 17.
Israel falls, explanation why, Assyrians settle in.
Okay, so in 2 Kings, right, you want a big chapter just to highlight. Like 17 is a huge chapter because that's when Israel is wiped out. They're destroyed
by the Assyrians.
By the Assyrians coming in. And it's interesting as we read through that this time, this year, how big an explanation it was about why Israel in the north was destroyed. It went on. That's why I wanted to remember that. Israel falls, and there's explanation why.
It's very clear.
Yep.
Why God had to punish them.
Yep. And then we also put about how the Assyrians settled in, because when they conquered, like they came to dwell there, as opposed to Babylon. When they conquered, the Babylonians didn't really come and dwell in Judah. They kind of left a vacuum.
Right.
So they left the poor people there. But that's different with Israel. Okay, and then we begin now just focusing all on Judah. And we have the first king, 18, 19, and 20. This is King
Hezekiah.
And what did he do in 18?
So in 18, Hezekiah's reforms, Assyria taunts Judah.
Yeah, I almost thought whether we should put the Rabshakeh there. A very unique name. But you said, no, you got to understand it's Assyria. I
Right.
think that's right.
Because Assyria, just in the previous chapter, had wiped out the northern kingdom of Israel. And so now they're just going to come and try to get Judah. And Hezekiah is the king. And
Yep. And what was his taunt? Do you remember?
they were saying that Assyria has conquered all these other nations and their gods couldn't protect them. Don't believe Hezekiah when he says, our God will protect us.
Yep. And that continues on into 19 about Hezekiah. What does he do?
Chapter 19, Hezekiah prays. AOL for Angel of the Lord kills 100.
Not America Online.
Right. Kills 185,000 Assyrians.
Yeah. And so Hezekiah was telling the people of Judah, no, stand firm. God will deliver you. And he prays with the parchments scrolled out in front of him. And
Because the Assyrians had come and surrounded Jerusalem.
185,000 Assyrians
at least,
surrounded Jerusalem.
So not only did they taunt Jerusalem in 18, but then they came and surrounded the city in 19. And I'm sure that it felt like Jerusalem was going to fall.
Yep.
But Hezekiah prayed, and the Lord miraculously killed 185,000 soldiers.
Okay, so chapter 20, we've got...
Hezekiah healed, showed treasures to Babylon.
Yeah, so Hezekiah is healed of his illness, and he gave him 15 more years of life, and then he did this foolish thing about showing the treasures to Babylon.
Yeah.
Just his pride.
Yeah.
Okay, chapter 21.
Manasseh's evil will bring judgment. Ammon reigns.
Okay, yeah, and so it's as good a king as Hezekiah is, the best king apart from David in all of Israel, Judah, whatever, comes the worst king.
And it was his son.
And
it was Hezekiah's son, Manasseh.
Yep.
And his evil is so great that it will bring certain judgment on Judah.
And just after this time, in the rest of the chapter, we hear, because of Manasseh's sin, because of Manasseh's sin, you're going to be destroyed. Okay, chapters 22 and 23 are about Josiah. And what does he do in chapter 22?
So he was a very good king.
Yes.
So chapter 22, Josiah cleans the temple, finds the law, and repents.
It was an amazing story, right? Mm-hmm. Israel had gone for all the reigns of Manasseh, 55 years, plus 2 years of Ammon, and then another 18 years of Josiah's reign before he cleaned the temple and found the law.
Yeah.
The self-styled worship for like 75 years in Judah. Like, think about how decadent they were at that point.
Yeah, and he was very repentant when he heard the law.
Yeah, wanted to do the things of God. And in 23, we have Josiah's extensive reforms, and in there just really struck by all the things they had to change to reverse what Manasseh did.
Mm-hmm. All the idol worship he had to tear down.
Yeah, okay, and then just two other kings, Jehoahaz and Jehoiakim. Okay, chapter 24.
24, Neb's first attack, and then last three kings. So Neb is Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and he's going to have an attack in 24 and also in 25. So 24 is his first attack.
And what 25 is?
25 is Neb's second attack. Judah exiled, Jehoiachin freed.
Which is crucial to keep the Davidic line that here's a king, exiled to Babylon, in prison for 37 years.
Yeah. Yeah, and in prison for 37 years. And then he was freed by the next king.
Yep, had children, and that came down to the line of David, the Davidic line.
Which shows up in Matthew chapter 1's genealogy.
Yep. Okay, so there's kind of a good closing of the history of Judah. We pick that up again. We get to Ezra and Nehemiah. We're going to pick up the story after 7 years of exile. They come back into the land. But we're going to pause now, and we're going to go to the New Testament. I know many of you are longing to get in the New Testament, beginning with the book of Acts. And, if you are wanting to invite some other people to read, like now would be the time to read. December 30th, a lot of people, turn of the year, going to think about reading. And on tomorrow, it would be a great time to start reading. Okay, and we will see you tomorrow in the book of Acts. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.